question. You have to keep her conscious, okay? Ask her questions.
What's 7 times 7?
Stuff she knows.
Hey, it's totally Katrina Porter. Oh my God.
It's Anna Serene, the raddest and the baddest.
I'm totally bugging.
As if.
Welcome to Split Happens, everyone.
Welcome, everybody. It seems like it's been a million years since we recorded, right?
Yeah, it
Has it?
has. Because we were going to record this at Clear Lake. We were
Oh.
going to record this earlier, but we didn't.
We didn't. We drank instead.
Yeah, we did. No regrets. Each episode, Katrina and I talk about a movie that both of us love. However, only one of us is going to get to say anything good about it. And they're the pro and get to lead the episode, and the other person is the con, and they have to find all of his faults. We have 3 rules that we must follow as of right now. We keep saying we're going to change.
We're working on it, people.
Change doesn't come easily.
Not to us.
Number 1, whoever claims pro first on a movie we haven't covered yet gets it. Asterisk. Number 2, the con only has to attack during the synopsis. And number 3, during the synopsis, the con can't say anything nice about the movie. And if they do, there's a penalty. And they have to say something nice about the movie that they hate the most. For me, that's Clash of the Titans. The remake, not the beloved one from the 80s.
For me, that is Hannibal.
And you're going to know that the rule has been broken because the pro is going to slam on a red button and you're going to hear this noise.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
I don't think you're going to get a button push today.
I'm the con, so I'm going to tear this movie apart and give it a new outfit and some makeup, which it definitely didn't ask for, and make it my little bitch.
I think I see your theme.
Yeah, you do.
Well, God, that means we're talking about 1995's Clueless.
Do you know what else happened in 1995?
You graduated high school?
Yeah, I did. How many years ago was that? I'm going to do 8.
95?
So that's
Or 20?
27?
Is it? This feels like Goonies. Are you starting with the big number, right?
Right. Oh my gosh, it was 27 years ago.
Yikes.
Let's
Gross.
not listen. Disclaimer. We didn't drink today before this,
No. And that's because we had a long night.
and it's that we saw John Mulaney last night,
Yes, we did.
and he's incredible.
Oh, that was so funny. But we saw him at the Starlight. The Starlight is an amphitheater. So it was outdoors and we were in a heat wave.
Yeah,
So it was very hot.
it was worth it.
It was swamp-assy and just awesome.
He was perfection.
But my throat kind of hurts from laughing so much. Clueless was directed by Amy Heckerling. She directed Fast Times at Ridgemont High as definitely her biggest movie. She also directed Johnny Dangerously, and I love that movie, but I don't think we're covering it. She also did the Look Who's Talking movies. In the early 90s, she had an idea for a TV show about popular kids in a California school, and then the lead would be a female with like loads of optimism, and it would be called No Worries. There was an alternate title that I actually liked better. It was I Was a Teenager.
That's funny.
I thought so too. Eventually, the TV people put it in a turnaround, limbo. And Amy Heckerling got really frustrated, so she moved to a new agency. And then her new agent was like, this is a movie. It did switch production companies at one point, so they had huge casting over on one side. And then when they switched, they had a huge casting over on the other side. So I'm not going to go over all of the people that were considered for all the roles because it is extensive. I'll just go over a few here and there.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say before we get in?
Yes. I have peppered through my notes. Do not say anything about how amazing Paul Rudd is until the very end.
Well, you can say how amazing he is, just not how good he is in this
I
movie.
know, but it's a slippery slope. He's wonderful. I love him. He is a big KU person. He's a big Chiefs person, a big Royals person. He's great.
This is, we cover a lot of movies where it seems like it's like this movie was racked with problems. The set was on fire and this person the father died, and we've had a lot of those. This is the opposite of that. This is a movie where everybody was happy and loved. So this is going to be a very wholesome episode.
What? I'll be the judge of that. As usual, a lot of my notes are low-hanging fruit. My focus is really going to be on there's a lot of assholes in this movie.
Oh, okay. Well,
Play the fucking
ready
song.
All right, here we go.
Let the games begin.
The movie starts with a cover of Kids in America. We get an opening montage, and you love a montage.
I do, but you can tell immediately that she's a terrible driver.
Well, she's just learning.
I don't think you're supposed to drive by yourself when you're 15 and you have a learner's permit.
Did you?
I am definitely not the the barometer on what was appropriate.
Enter Alicia Silverstone as Cher. Your super close friend, Reese Witherspoon, was considered for the role. She said that she heavily auditioned for it. She really wanted the part. Alicia was discovered because the original casting director saw her in The Crush.
Oh, that was a good movie. That was...
Yeah.
Did that have Carrie Ellis?
It was. Maybe? I don't remember.
I think he was in that.
Okay.
No, that's right.
Yeah, that's what it is. Amy Heckerling, she was like on the treadmill, and she saw her in the Aerosmith video for Crazy. The casting director had said, I got the perfect girl for you. She was in The Crush, and Amy Heckerling's like, no, I really, really want this girl that was in the Crazy video, and it was the same person. Cher is picking out her school clothes with a super high-tech computer program that shows like a paper doll version of her clothes to find the perfect match. I would argue that the clothes alone in this movie should have like top billing as a character.
But people didn't dress like that in the 90s.
I wasn't in California in the
People
90s.
did not dress like that in the 90s. People dressed like that after this movie.
Right.
But they did not dress like this. This is not a representation of how people dressed in the 90s with the exception of the grunge kids.
I was going to say, yeah, there's what they did was took a lot of the okay, so the costume designer's name is Mona May. It's a great name, and she kind of picked from multiple different things that were popular at the time. So plaid was really, really popular with grunge, so they took that and elevated it to like Beverly Hills grunge. Costumes were a huge chunk of the budget, of the very limited budget that they had. And she made costumes, hundreds of costumes for the film because her team dressed every single kid in the background. Every single person was styled in some way. Everybody, from the parties, the school, everybody.
I wonder what the budget was of cars that Cher hit when she shouldn't have been driving.
I bet it's high.
Right. I think that's where most of the money went.
The clothes became really iconic, as you know. Harry Styles wore an outfit to the Grammys a while back, inspired by Cher's yellow plaid outfit, and Alicia commented on it on Instagram.
Oh.
A lot of her clothes were specifically chosen to stand out, and they are seasonal. So this is more of like her summer. Later during Christmas, she's wearing red. In the spring, she's wearing like pinks. Cher is driving to school with her best friend Dion. She is played by Stacey Dash. As usual, I think we'll try to stick to just her role as Dion and not her outside of acting. We have so many people that they're great in movies, but they're trash outside. So she's gorgeous as a person. She sucks as a human being. Mm-hmm. I will say that the cast that she was wonderful to work with.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, but Stacey Dash came in and she was just a shoo-in. She was absolutely perfect for it. They were like, she's 28. She looks really young, but she seems like more mature and more worldly, and that worked perfectly for that role. I thought she was really, really good with her boyfriend, who was played by Donald Faison. He plays Murray. Dave Chappelle was considered for the part, but it actually ended up coming down to two people. It came down to Donald Faison and his cousin, Terrence Howard.
Isn't Terrence Howard kind of garbagey?
He is crazy. He doesn't think that the number 0 exists. Hey, you know who else wanted to play Murray?
Who?
Paul Rudd. Because he didn't realize it was for a black character.
Bless his little heart.
No. He's like, he wanted to read for a lot of different Murrays. Like, can I read for Murray? They're like, no, that's for a black actor to play. And he goes, oh, I just thought it was like maybe like a white kid that just thought he was black.
Oh my God. They're like, sorry, we only have 2 black people in this movie. We can't take...
There's a guy that shaves his head. I'll get to that too. Donald Faison actually never wore braces either. They made him wear those because he has a snaggletooth. And then we get to school and we see all the different kids.
Trope, 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 trope. Trope, trope, trope.
We get to the classroom and we see Mr. Hall, and he is played by Wallace Shawn.
And no one takes him seriously. And also, she doesn't know how to pronounce Haitians.
So, okay. Like right now, for example, the Haitians need to come to America.
That actually was Alicia Silverstone. She didn't know how to pronounce it. Somebody was almost about to go and tell her, like, you're pronouncing it wrong. And Amy was like, don't go anywhere near her. This is perfect for the role.
They're not nice to this teacher.
Mr. Hall. Oh, and it's Wallace Shawn. He's so cute. I love him. Amber in this is played by Elisa Donovan, but it damn near went to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh.
They really wanted her. But she was on All My Children at the time, and they wouldn't release her. So Elisa Donovan is Amber. She said that an ex-boyfriend of hers would often say to her whatever, and he would say it in like a really dismissive, condescending tone a lot, and she hated it. So when she saw whatever show up in the script, she's like, this is perfect. And she really wanted to like make it stand out because it was a pretty good like fuck you to him.
Can we talk about the suicide jokes in this scene?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't recall any suicide jokes.
You don't, when he's like, the one stoner guy is like, gonna go, jump out the window because he got a bad grade.
He
and
needed fresh air so he could,
Yeah, and then Mr. Hall was like, can we save the suicide attempts for after class? That's funny.
No, see, here's what it was. I know that's what it seems like. But what it was is Travis was really thirsty, okay? And he didn't want to ask for a hall pass because he didn't think he was going to get it. So he thought he could get out of the window to go to the cafeteria where they have a soda fountain, right? And I don't know if you remember, but there used to be a drink that everybody liked where you get like just a little bit out of each one, like a little Coke, a little Dr. Pepper, a little Mountain Dew, a little Orange Crush. Do you remember what that was called?
It was called a suicide.
Yeah, that's what he was going for.
You're thirsty for nonsense.
Yeah, I'm thirsty for nonsense.
That was so dumb.
No. Let's talk about Josh.
Okay.
Because that's important. It's obviously it's Paul Rudd. A lot of people auditioned for Josh, like tons. Ben Affleck was actually really high on the list. Well, Cher and Josh in this are ex-step siblings.
Right.
And they still bicker with each other, but they don't quite realize that they're seriously hot for each other. And Paul Rudd said that most of his clothes were actually his. Amy Heckerling said, because I'm sure you have something to say about them being ex-stepbrother and stepsister.
No.
Really?
No.
Out of all of the things?
No. I've got things to say about them.
Oh, I'm fascinated with that because that seems to be what like weirds people out the most.
Really? Because they're not related.
Correct. Amy Heckerling said during the development first of all, they were concerned that it was too much about a female. And they wanted her to focus more on like the male characters in it, like Josh. But also that it was they thought it was a little bit incestuous.
You get the sense that Cher's dad is married to somebody for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think the fact that she's supposed to be 15 in this movie and he's in college is really problematic.
But maybe he's like 18 and she's almost 16.
Okay, she's 15.
Because he's a freshman.
Okay, and he's 18. That's statutory rape in every state.
That is not that big of an age difference.
All I'm saying is it's illegal. And kind of weird.
I don't know what the laws were in California in 1995. So maybe it was totally fine.
I looked it up. It was illegal.
That's a lie. Your finger is a lie. By the way, Amy Heckerling made them stepbrother and stepsister because her grandparents were stepbrother and stepsister. Cher is totally bumming.
Because she didn't do a good job in school and needs to manipulate her teacher into giving her a better grade?
She has shitty grades and she wants them to be better.
Then do better. She lies to her PE teacher and manipulates her. Mm-hmm. She manipulates Mrs. Geist.
Helps.
No. Did Mrs. Geist ask for help? Cher, which is a recurrent theme in this movie, just automatically assumes that somebody's not happy with their appearance and that she knows what they want better than they do, being at the wise, ripe age of 15.
Okay, so this movie was based on Emma, the Jane Austen novel. So that is a big part of it. That is what Emma does.
Cher is a brat and is constantly manipulating people.
She's also constantly helping people.
She helps people in the way she thinks they need to be helped. It's her opinion that these people need these changes. They didn't ask for any of this. Her help turned Ty into an asshole. We have our first retired of the movie.
This was the 90s. And as we've been over before with many of our movies, that was an acceptable term then. It's not an acceptable term now to us, obviously, because we have chosen to throw a blanket over many words and cover them with words like retired. When she's like looking to see who she can hook up the teachers with, I like it when she sees the Snickers on the table. She's like, ooh, Snickers. I find it refreshing to be represented so well on screen.
I did, during that part, I did pause my notes and I went and got a fun-sized Butterfinger.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Miss Geist. She's not Mrs. yet. She's played by Twink Kaplan. She's an actress, but she's actually one of the film's producers, and she's been friends with the director for like 20 years. And she had tons of input on the casting and making of the movie. Cher cannot drive. You're right. So she goes to somebody to drive her, and she chooses Josh. Ask Josh. What does that look?
Her dad decides that now that she got a ticket, she suddenly needs to follow the rules.
He didn't know that she wasn't following the rules.
He doesn't know that his teenage daughter is driving around without an adult in the car.
He's got a lot going on. He's a litigator. Well, we get to where they're in like gym class, which is actually out in on a tennis court. My favorite part is Dion has a note from her tennis instructor that she's not to expose herself to any training that might derail any of his teachings.
Yep, they're assholes.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Julie Brown's character is good at teaching tennis? We saw her try it with her form when she's older than the girl. She's like,
I'm just saying that there are a lot of times in this movie that they're not very nice. They're clueless.
That's the name of the movie. Heckerling, she went to a California school to kind of, see how kids acted and how they talked and things like that and she met I think he was the drama teacher there. His name was actually Mr. Hall.
Oh.
Right. And he was really helpful to her. He was like a big part of it. The real Mr. Hall is in the movie right here. He is the principal that brings in Ty.
After 5 seconds of meeting Ty, they decide she needs a total makeover and she needs to change her accent.
Yeah.
And that she should only even remotely consider dating popular people if you're going to consider even dating somebody in high school at all, being 15, which is who you should be considered dating.
Yeah, because she might have selfish intentions at this point because she needs to have room to grow as a person. Ty never loses her accent though. They never show her practicing her diction like Eliza Doolittle.
They're too busy counting calories.
Brittany Murphy was cast because she was incredibly sweet and adorable. Amy Heckerling said that she just wanted to take care of her. And everybody just loved her. They loved her so much that when she came into audition, we're like, this girl is it. So they just let her come into the auditions for all the other people because she was so new. So she just sat on the floor and watched the rest of auditions, just smiling. And
I can totally see that.
Ty shows up wearing the Honest Serene 1995 summer fall collection.
Plaid.
I can't tell you how much I identify with Ty in this movie.
Oh, I can totally see that.
A lot. It's a lot.
You're wearing plaid shorts right now.
Oh, shit, I am. They're sporty, though.
Right.
I'm
sporty plaid.
Because I've grown as a person.
Like Cher.
I just needed a popular girl to, give me a makeover. In the cafeteria, Ty meets Travis, and they are clearly perfect for each other, but that does not work for Cher. And at one point, Travis and Ty have a conversation about Marvin the Martian.
Which you were obsessed with.
I'm like, this is me.
I know. It's very strange.
If she were just carrying around a bag of jelly beans with all the black ones removed, this is
Be
me.
you.
Makeover montage. You love a montage.
I typically do love a montage when it's voluntary.
Cher brings Ty to her house where she meets Josh And Paul Rudd and Alicia Silverstone have really, really good chemistry together. You don't think they have good chemistry
I don't remember.
on screen?
I was so distracted.
So you think it was bad chemistry?
I think that she's bossing him around as well. And she's rude to him.
But they have like a Sam and Diane type of relationship.
No, Sam and Diane were both consenting adults.
Damn it. As soon as I said it, I was like, fuck. I think Paul Rudd has good chemistry with literally everybody.
I think if you can't have chemistry with him, then you're an asshole. It's like the litmus test for like, are you an asshole?
Yeah. How do you feel about Paul Rudd?
And if someone's even like you're an asshole.
Okay, bye. I'm no longer interested in this conversation.
This is not the podcast for you.
No.
If you're not into Paul Rudd.
I really love Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Man, Ty, I like when Ty's watching the commercial. Like she's they're singing along to the Mentos.
Mentos better, Mentos fresher. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the
Fresh
fresh maker.
maker.
Be seeing ya.
It's me.
It's like, I hope not sporadically.
It's funny, right? Mm-mm. Sharon Dion decide once again that despite Ty and Travis being perfect for each other, she needs to date somebody more popular, and horrible Elton is the one for her.
How does Cher not see that Elton is into her?
Elton? I don't know. Maybe because she was so like one track focused on something else.
She seems like that she would laser in on someone being into her immediately because she's so self-centered.
I almost feel like sometimes women don't pick up on when somebody's into them. Before they go to the valley, Ty goes over for dinner at Cher's house. And she's sitting at the table and she's like,
Hi, Daddy. This is my friend Ty.
Get out of my chair.
Rude.
and then she gets a page on her pager.
Right.
Man, that was fun to see.
I had a pager when I worked at a hospital until I quit, and that was in the 2000s. Remember, we had a DEFCON system.
Oh, yeah.
If you needed to page me, depending on how quickly I needed to call you back.
I forgot that was for the pagers.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. And usually it only got like really low, like serious whenever one of your dogs got out.
Right.
A Tribe Called Quest had a whole song about pagers. It's called Sky Pager. I swear to God, Dion and Murray arguing is the most accurate portrayal I've ever seen of a couple fighting. Am I right?
I don't know. Were you going to talk about that part where she pulls out the polyester hair?
Oh, fuck, that's right. I don't wear polyester hair. Yeah. So was Murray like, well, he dances with another girl too.
Yeah, I think he's a rascal.
Well, they go to a house party and it's like all business for sure. She's just there to make sure that Ty gets with and Travis tries to impress Ty and it pisses Cher off. And then Ty gets hit in the head with a clog, which they couldn't get it looking quite right. So that's actually CGI'd.
Elton, who is clearly into Cher.
Who?
Elton?
There it is.
He's a terrible dancer, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. I think he said something about, he's like, it's really hard to dance on. He's like, unless you're professional. I'm like, oh, sweetheart.
This is like the 5th time in my notes I have teenagers never dress like that. Like Cher's in this beautiful red dress.
I thought you were going to mention the Dr. Seuss hat. You don't think kids wore that?
No.
Okay. That's where you're wrong, because Sean, our brother, had that exact hat and he used to wear it. I have a picture of it.
But it was probably a theater thing.
Mm-mm. It's at the party that Murray gets his hair cut. He gets his head shaved. Mm-hmm. When it came time to shave his head, they didn't want him to shave his whole head because he has hats on in other scenes. So they needed to have that little bit of hair. So he only got like the top part of it shaved and he felt like he looked like George Jefferson. Cher gets a ride from Elton, but he douches out and ditches her. And that's where she gets robbed and put a pin in the robbery, because I'm going to come back to that way later. So Cher has to get a ride from Josh.
I don't condone violence.
Yeah?
But I kind of think Cher had it coming.
You think Cher had it coming? She had it coming? She had it coming.
I mean,
to get ditched?
Maybe she shouldn't have been at a party in the valley.
She could have gotten really, really, really hurt.
But she wasn't concerned about getting hurt. She was concerned about her dress.
Ty is sad because Elton isn't into her anymore. So Cher and Dion take her to eat a bunch of trash food and watch the new Christian Slater movie. And that's love. Because 90s Christian Slater was fantastic.
Well, before that, when Josh picks her up, he picks her up with his girlfriend Heather in the car.
Yeah.
And Cher and Heather get an obnoxious off.
Yeah.
And we all lose.
It's just like Hamlet said, to thine own self be true.
No, Hamlet didn't say that.
I think that I remember Hamlet accurately.
Well, I remember Mel Gibson accurately. He didn't say that. That Polonius guy did.
Because it's about Mel Gibson's Hamlet, which I forgot that he even did that. Mm-hmm. That has to be awful, right?
It's gotta be. He's in another movie.
Who? Mel Gibson?
Yes. I'm like, why the fuck is he in movies?
A new one?
It's, yeah. Like a Western or something.
Well, you know what I want? I want them to either not act at all or all of those trash people just to make a movie together. Like, that's what they get to act with. It's just
Right.
together, and then we can just avoid that. So that we're not, like, missing out on, like, all the other actors that are in the movies that aren't trash. New kid, Christian, not Slater, shows up. And Cher is smitten because he has committed himself to, like, the Rat Pack type of vibe. And she's really, really, really into him because he is definitely straight and not gay.
It's like Tila from He-Man lusting after He-Man.
No shit.
Like, girl. He into you?
This isn't going to happen for you, sweetheart. It's just not. Cher wants to set up a date to a party with not gay Christian, not Slater. And he picks her up at her house. And her dad says one of my favorite lines of the entire movie.
Hey, you. Anything happens to my daughter, I got a 45 and a shovel. I doubt anybody would miss you.
When Josh is clearly jealous and he wants to go to the party, to keep an eye on her.
You're right. His underage ex-stepsister.
You already said that the stepsister thing doesn't bug you out.
It must have, because I put it in my notes here.
You said, but his slightly younger sister, his slightly younger, no longer stepsister, not blood related. He wants to make sure that she's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Okay. So he appears he's really into her now, even though he found her obnoxious before. But since Cher is dancing with Prince Adam, Josh decides to dance with her underage friend instead.
Oh, I'm definitely going to call him Prince Adam. Well, he dances with her because, he wants to, be
Stalk
nice.
Cher.
No, he's not stalking Cher. He's into her. I mean, he just doesn't realize it yet.
I hope he's into Prison Orange.
He's not going to jail. Not then. Probably not, because the dad approved of it. If a parent says, I'm good with it.
Correct.
Is that not, couldn't that?
Correct.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Gross. Outside of this movie. Gross.
Right.
At the party, the band, the Mighty Mighty Bosstones are playing. Yay!
I'm going to be the dancing guy for Halloween.
Oh, I can't remember his. I'm going to mess it up. And I feel so bad. I'll have to read. It's like Ben Carr, maybe?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm just going to wear a suit and dance around parties.
That was a unique role that he played in their band.
It really was.
Because he never played an instrument.
Right.
I think he was a friend of the band. But he was too young. That's what it was. He was too young to go to the shows and stuff. So they were like, well, just join us on stage. Huh. And he danced. And they just kind of stuck with it. And I'm kind of glad, because he definitely is a really cool part.
What
was that? What do
Nothing.
You like? What do you like?
I like when he's at concerts that are not in this show.
Yeah.
Where he's dancing around and he just suddenly stops and kind of stares off, and then he starts dancing again. Like he farted or something. And then...
he's just resetting.
Right.
Dickie Barrett, he's the lead singer of the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. He said they got absolutely ripped.
This guy?
Wow, that was accurate.
He has such an intense look on his face all the time.
Probably because they were all shit-faced on vodka. I guess they had to lip sync their song, and they were doing it over and over and over and over again. And they're just not used to that sort of thing because they're a real band.
Right.
So they just kind of, help themselves to like Cape Cods. Okay, so it's really important for me. I've actually got it written phonetically how to say Alicia Silverstone's name because he kept calling her Alicia and it really pissed her off. So I'm like, oh, well, I don't think she's going to hear this, but I really
got it right.
I want to make sure I'm getting it right, Alicia, Miss Silverstone.
If you're nasty.
Okay, let me get past that. Okay. At the party, Ty trips and stumbles down the stairs. It's like exhibit 827. This is me. She's like, do you think anybody noticed?
It's like the Keanu Reeves wannabe for an Independence Day. Do you think they'll miss us? Do you think anyone noticed me falling down the stairs?
Yeah, sweetie.
Everyone noticed.
It really is me. I almost did that yesterday at the hotel.
I'm shocked that you ever make it down the stairs without falling.
Me too. Okay. Oh, so Josh dances with Ty. Remember when I said to put a pin in that robbery? Paul Rudd has said that he remembers very clearly about that whole dancing scene because he said he was freaked out the day that he had to dance because the night before he was at a deli with a friend. And he said they were having dinner and then there were some cops sitting close by. And he said something, he's like, it must be hard to be a cop in California, something like that. And then they're having this conversation. And then he was going to go out to his car after dinner and he got jumped. He got robbed right then and there. And he's like, I don't have any money. And the guy's like, you don't think this is a real gun? And shot it. And it actually went past his head. And it actually kind of almost hit Paul Rudd.
You bastard.
I know. He's like 10 hours later, I was dancing. Back at the house, Cher and Josh are hanging out and they're watching Ren and Stimpy. I don't have anything else about this scene, just that they're watching Ren and Stimpy and I love
But they're
that
sitting
cartoon.
incredibly close to each other.
Yeah, because they're into each other. They're just not admitting it. Yeah, we don't sit that close to each other.
No.
Yeah.
I don't sit that close to anybody if I can avoid it.
Ew, no. We don't touch people. You know, there's a point where Brittany Murphy's character, Ty, is touching Dion's braid. And I think that's a thing with white women do that a lot. Mess with black people's hair.
It's fucking rude.
Yeah, it's foreign to us because we don't touch anybody. And it's incredibly rude.
Right. It's like touching a pregnant woman without her permission. How are you going to go touch somebody's hair?
It's so weird. It's a weird thing. Can I use this as a thing to say white women don't do that?
Yes.
Don't do that. Or anybody.
Right.
Don't touch people.
Right.
Stop touching people.
It's weird.
They don't want. I don't care how familiar you are with them.
Consent matters.
It really does. Not gay Christian, not Slater, comes over. Oh, Prince Adam.
Whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah,
whoop.
yes.
Cher is packing for her dad to go on his trip.
She does?
Yes, it's weird.
Oh, that is weird.
Right?
She really does take care of the whole house. Not gay, not Slater. Christian comes over, and Cher thinks that she's just gonna do it with him, but he just wants to watch Tony Curtis movies because, of course, he does.
Whoa, 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 whoa! There's a glaring part of this scene that I can't believe you're not upset about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She decides to make something, so she puts prefab cookie dough, a cookie dough log, which she burns. And first of all, if she burn it, it wouldn't still be in log form.
That's true.
And then they just leave the oven door open and go explore the house.
Oh, yeah. Teenagers, am I right? Okay, so the next day, Cher and Dion are talking, and they're in a car, and she's like, I just don't get it, why he didn't want to make out with me. And Murray says that he's not gay. Yeah. Oh, he's wearing a hat. There's another time where he's wearing a hat. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes.
I like it when she goes, blah, 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 blah. No.
Yes.
This is the scene where Murray unleashes a lot of gay slurs.
I don't think those are slurs. You're saying a friend of Dorothy? I don't think that's not a slur. That's not a slur.
That's not the only thing he said.
Yeah, I wish I would have written it down. I don't remember what all he said. I think they were all nice.
They were not. and you know it because you tried to move past it. Yeah. And then Dion gets him killed almost.
But he did not say Foxtrot, and he did not say Fang. And that would have been really easy to do that because this was the 90s and that was still being used. So they were teaching other ways of saying it. Some of that was not bad. Friend of Dorothy's not bad.
No, he's like, hey, if you want to get away with doing a gay slur, but not like one of the big ones.
Yeah.
You can say this instead.
Yeah, like Foxtrot.
Right.
Retired.
Well, we use that as an example of what you shouldn't say, but we don't want to say the word.
Maybe that's what he's doing.
Absolutely not.
Maybe that's what he's doing.
He's not, and you know I'm right.
We don't know.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know what he does, and I'm not putting in a clip. Ty has a brush with death at the mall, and it causes her to be the center of attention, and it goes to her head a bit, and Cher doesn't like that.
No, because Cher can't tolerate anyone being the center of attention other than herself.
Speaking of Cher being upset, and I'm not going to get too far into it, but Alicia Silverstone got really sick on set. They had to shut down. That was probably the only real problem that they had on set, was they had to shut down a few times because she was working way too much, way more than she should have been for her age. And she's like, and she even said, she's like, I'm in almost every scene. And she started getting really bad ulcers because of it. And she said the only thing that would really, she could really eat was like frozen yogurt. Cher mildly insults the housekeeper, Lucy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She says, Lucy, you know I don't speak Mexican.
Yikes. Yeah. She just doesn't understand that it's Spanish. She doesn't take Spanish at school, and she's unfamiliar, and she thought that she was talking about somebody's country.
But she's so wise.
About other stuff, for sure. Mm-hmm. I bet she would be very good at finding a loved one for Lucy.
Yeah, she just go around and put an ad out. Anyone speak Mexican? Any Haitians out there that...
Well, then she fails her driver's test. And it's unrelated.
He calls her girly.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
So when they hit that car, it's a stunt driver, obviously, driving, not Alicia Silverstone. They didn't even bother to tell the instructor, the driving instructor, that they were going to hit a car. So you see a genuine reaction from him whenever he hit the car.
Everyone's an asshole in this.
No, they just... It was a surprise. Back at the house, Ty is flirting with Josh, and it leads to the fallout with Cher. And then that's when Cher realizes that, I love Ty
Josh.
And the rest of humanity. She loves Paul Rudd.
Right.
Aw.
Did you notice what Paul Rudd is wearing in that scene?
What?
A KU hat.
Was he really?
Mm-hmm.
No shit.
Yep.
Well, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. They said it was mostly his wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a great... I didn't catch that. Damn it. Did you happen to also notice in the scene that he's wearing a KU hat?
Fuck. What?
I bring such good trivia. Okay, so there is one other thing, a piece of trivia about Paul Rudd that I really, really want to tell you. Everybody, somebody, I can't remember who it was that said that, everybody shockingly said that Paul Rudd was like a total sweetheart. And he gave gifts to everybody, like at the end of, like when they wrapped the set. He gave gifts. He got them, they were tiny kernels of rice with their initials on each one put together in a necklace.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It was just a very nice personal thing. But it's because I think his agent was like, you've got to get people gifts, whenever you wrap. And he's like, that's what they do? And he's like, yeah, that's what they do. So that's what Paul Rudd was doing for people. Was
I wish he would have given
gifts.
them all KU hats.
Oh, wouldn't that have been amazing? Little pieces of rice. I really want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Can you imagine getting initials on little pieces of rice?
Mm-mm.
That's cool.
It would look like... Oh my God. It reminds me, when you say something engraved on a little bitty thing, it reminds me of my complete inability to buy things online. If you haven't seen the movie Spinal Tap, that is me ordering online.
I do not, for one, think that the problem was that the band was down. I think that the problem may have been that there was a Stonehenge monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf.
I ordered some margarita glasses because Anna and I are looking into merch, and the print is so hysterical on it.
You have to put it on our social media
I
because
will.
it's so adorable.
It's not the I'm not going to say where I got it from because I don't want anyone to think that they fucked up because it was 1,000,000% me.
Stonehenge.
I know. It's so bad.
Cher wants to do something good, so she helps her dad with the depositions that he's working on. She decides to focus her energy on doing good in the world and becomes the captain of the Pismo Beach disaster relief, which is not a real thing.
But why does she still call Miss Geist poor Miss Geist? She's just constantly assuming that this woman is kind of downtrodden and unhappy because she doesn't live the life that Cher would live.
Maybe she was like, oh, poor Miss Guy, she's not going to get anybody to volunteer for her. I need to help.
No, she decides to quit being an asshole to impress Josh and accidentally does something good.
She's not trying to impress Josh. She just wants to do something good. She wants to, not focus on herself and like making people fall in love, just doing good in the world. She wants to do good in the world. She even asks Josh how to do some good in the world. And he's like, sterilization. I like when Travis brings in the stuff to donate and Cher puts his bongs into kitchenware.
And he's like,
That's
where
I kept it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. He kept that in his house? In the kitchen? He's a teenager.
Oh, that doesn't matter in this movie. Teenagers can do all sorts of grown-up things in this movie.
Isn't Beverly Hills neat? I think we have some people that listen to us in Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
Maybe they can weigh in.
They're like, this movie's ridiculous.
They're like, that's how it was, all right. Cher and Ty go to Travis's skateboarding competition, and they make up.
Yes, and we get another retired.
Oh, it's not quite retired. It's Target. But then again, this was the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
Ty realizes that the person she's supposed to be with is Travis. By the way, Brecken was doing a lot of his own skateboarding and stunts, and he kind of fucked up his ankle. Cher is still helping her dad with the depositions, and one of his staff yells at her for sorting stuff wrong, and then kind of casually throws out it's because she and Josh are too busy flirting.
Yeah, another shitty person in a movie about shitty people.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be shitty. That leads to them kissing on the staircase, and I could watch that over and over and over again.
I legitimately think the concept of this is kind of weird.
Really?
Yes.
The stepsister thing, or just the age?
The age.
That just doesn't seem that far off, though. I mean, if she's like 15 going on 16 because she's about to start driving, so she would, and he's a freshman, he could be 17. He could be a minor too.
He's not. He works at a law office. He's a law clerk or whatever.
He is a freshman. They say it, isn't it? He could be.
He could be.
I think it's adorable. It ends with a wedding between Miss Geist and Mr. Hall, and there was an alternate scene where Cher has a nightmare about Miss Geist marrying Josh, and they kissed.
Speaking of inappropriate,
yes,
how appropriate is it to have a student be one of your bridesmaids?
Is that inappropriate?
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know.
Hey, teenager that I don't know for very long, come be a bridesmaid in my wedding.
Well, she got them together.
But did she confess that she got them together? Because that was all her manipulation.
Yeah, it was in an alternate scene. It was cut.
Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they just couldn't get in everything.
Cher tackles all these bitches to catch the bouquet.
Yeah, she does. You have been to a wedding where you have to catch a bouquet. It's a bloodbath.
These are teenagers.
It's a bloodbath.
Teenagers.
That's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie.
Yes.
It's done. Yes. It's over now.
It's done.
It's done.
Wallace Shawn had said that he felt like, the whole staff, if not most of the staff, would have just been thrilled to have that as like the job that they do 365 days a year.
Aww.
So it was just a lovely environment. Bill Pope, the guy that was the DP, and he said that whenever he's asked which movie he had the most fun on, the first one that comes to mind is Clueless. And he did all of the Matrix movies. He did the Spider-Man films. He did Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And he just said, it just like the movie, everybody was happy.
It's a clever movie. It really is.
There's one more thing that's like surprising for us. It came in under budget.
Even with all the car wrecks?
Yeah. It had a $13 million budget, but it came in around 10. So, you know, and it was only behind schedule by like a few days. It was supposed to finish filming in 47 days, and it took 53.
Which is pretty impressive with them having to shut things down when she got sick.
Yeah. I mean, that was really, really amazing. So
You had some good trivia for this.
thanks. There was so much.
Yeah, I bet.
It was almost overwhelming. The age thing, I didn't consider that. It might not be appropriate.
Yeah, I think it's more that they make them all seem so much more grown up than 15-year-olds.
Definitely Dion.
And going to the party in the valley and...
Yeah, we definitely weren't doing that sort of thing. There was one time where I was going to a New Year's party and I was supposed to be home by 10. That's what I was told. I had to be home by 10, but it was New Year's. There's no way I was coming home at 10. So I stayed the night at the party and I got home at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. And then when I was questioned about it, I said, I thought you meant 12, like noon. The next day I was like, I didn't think you'd mean like midnight. New Year's is midnight. That's actually what I used. But he was like, yeah, but you came home at 2. I was like, well, then I'm only 2 hours late. I think somehow I got away with it because it was just the most ridiculous. It was kind of like some of my takes.
Yeah, I can see that.
The language is always a problem in these movies.
I know. It's one of the reasons we keep going back and forth on doing 16 Candles.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which we love, but watching it as a grown-up, you're like, holy shit.
It's why we can't do Slapshot.
I know.
I love that movie. You love that movie.
Yeah.
And we can't.
No.
I remember trying to watch it, we're like, holy shit. Half of this movie is foxtrots and fangs.
Right.
Like, we just can't. You know, we usually ask people to do something, you know, related to the movie, but I'm going to say just reach out and tell us what you think about, what you're thinking about. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, and also if someone could reach out and say that they want us to do Armageddon, that would be great.
No. Get a hold of us and let us know what you thought about Clueless or what you want to just talk about just in general. We love listening and talking with people. We are at Split Happens Pod on all of the socials and splithappenspod.com. Clueless is fun and this was fun and you know,
Heart.
This thing. Hearts.
Heart.
All right, bye Katrina Porter.
Bye everybody.